See if Ms. Hauser's ready,
ready.
ready to roll.
Ready to roll.
Ms. Bertram's ready to
Pull
roll.
up the agenda.
Start the meeting here, just a second.
All right, we good? All right, well, hey, welcome everyone to Monday, August the 14th, 2023, to our regular board meeting. I call this meeting to order. Would you please, Mr. Bertram, would you call a roll, please?
Mrs. Schreiber,
Here.
Mrs. Stewart,
Here.
Mrs. Mulligan,
Here.
Dr. Urso,
Here.
and Mr. Moore is excused this evening.
Could you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second.
And a second from Ms. Mulligan. Are there any questions in regards to the agenda prior to approval? All right, that's enough silence. So Mr. Bertram?
Mrs. Schreiber,
Yes.
Mrs. Stewart,
Yes.
Mrs. Mulligan,
Yes.
Dr. Urso.
Yes. Does not appear to be any public participation, so moving along to our consent agenda. Is there a motion for approval for tonight's consent agenda?
So move.
Second.
All right, any questions, comments, concerns regarding to consent agenda?
No.
Not terribly much in that
No.
for this evening. Personnel and then complete care providers, a contract that we traditionally service.
Yes.
Anything?
No.
If there is nothing, then Mr. Bertram?
Mrs. Stewart,
Yes.
Mrs. Mulligan,
Yes.
Dr. Urso,
Yes.
Mrs. Schreiber.
Yes.
Under Human Resources, there's a Personnel Agenda B. Is there a motion for approval?
So move.
Thank you. And a
Second.
Thank you. And again, Agenda B, I believe there's a certain individual with a last name like mine. And so hence it's on our agenda. If there are no questions, then Mr. Bertram, we're ready to vote.
Mrs. Mulligan,
Yes.
Dr. Urso,
Abstain?
Mrs. Schreiber,
Yes.
and Mrs. Stewart.
Yes.
All right. Under curriculum instruction, there is a contract for a guest speaker, Mr. Jerry Brooks. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
In a second, please.
Second.
Thank you. And then Ms. Hauser, I know you had shared in an agenda review some of the information on this individual. Would you mind sharing to the board and to the community
Sure.
who he is and what he will bring?
Sure, I'd be glad to. You may already know him from social media, from his YouTube presence, and you're definitely invited to come if you'd like to come listen to him speak. What I'd also like to point out is he'll be joining us October 18th of 2024. So that is next school year, which that's pretty typical. To land Mr. Brooks as a speaker, he books a year out in advance. Mr. Brooks has been an educator his whole life. He brings humor when he speaks to teachers and administrators, and it's really about climate and culture through very humorous presentations. I have to believe that the majority of our teachers know Mr. Brooks, the speaker, and they will be super excited to hear him speak. Many of our teachers have already heard him speak, and if you haven't, just jump on YouTube. Listen to him. He's very real, uses humor in a very real way. So what you see in front of you is his contract. We do not have to pay that contract out until he comes to speak to our staff. So that will be next October, and we're super excited to have him.
Yay. Any questions for Ms. Hauser?
No.
If there are none, to Mr. Bertram.
Dr. Urso?
Yes.
Mrs. Schreiber?
Yes.
Mrs. Stewart?
Yes.
Mrs. Mulligan?
Yes.
And if I'm noticing the agenda correctly, a relatively light agenda for tonight. It's committee reports. Ms. Hauser, any committees have met since our last meeting that you can lead a conversation on?
No, we haven't had any. We're busy getting ready for the start of school, so we didn't have any committee meetings.
I know there's been some action with the Community Center Committee. I know Ms. Stewart and I are a part of that committee. It's exciting right now. It's out to bid. And so the end of the month, the bids will be opened. And so the end of August, we'll have an idea of what those contracts will look like. The first meeting, I believe, in September, City Council has the ability to approve or not approve whatever set contracts come in. We're still working on the funding piece. And with that, today, we got good news that a contribution from, was it Primary Health?
Yes.
Primary Health. I confuse all those health networks. They're hard because they're similar. Primary Health made a contribution to our project. And so we're thankful for them and thankful for all the contributions. But still, there's some heavy lifting. Is it Atrium?
Atrium.
Atrium. And so there's still some heavy lifting that needs to be done. Some unanswered questions that yet to be answered. And so this next 4 to 6 weeks will be critical for that project and what happens, what hopefully happens at our Sunny Hill Community Center. Ms. Stewart, anything to add in regards to that?
No, I think you've covered it. I'm excited as well and hopeful that we're getting close.
I know as a Board of Education, as a district, we would love to see that project see its full potential. We see the need for preschool in all parts of our community, especially in the community that surrounds Sunny Hill. And the vibrant, lively environment that space would provide would be critical for our town. And so we're excited by that project as we were 6 months, 12 months ago, and we really do hope that it sees its full potential and comes to fruition. Anything else regarding committees? If not, then Board of Education reports, and Ms. Scheibert, you get the microphone first. Anything to report?
Well, I enjoyed the opening pep rally at Middletown High School the other day. Got a lot of enthusiastic teachers. It was fun. It was fun. I don't know how your PD went with everybody. We got to read something about the Soulbird information, and that looked like really good information for teachers to have, bus drivers, cafeteria workers, everybody to have. So I enjoyed that. I look forward to Jerry Brooks. Oh my gosh, I have turned my days around watching 5 minutes of him. He's hilarious. He's hilarious, and he has such a message. He really does. So I'm
So
glad
put that
to
on
hear
the
that.
calendar and make sure you join us.
Yes, that's very good. Other than that, it was nice to see the kids at the pep rally. We got some cutie pie cheerleaders, and that band is something else. So it was very enjoyable. Thank you.
Good. Thanks for joining us.
Ms. Stewart, anything to share this evening?
Just really sorry I missed the pep rally. I did hear that everything went great and there was a lot of energy and participation. So I was out of town. Sorry to miss, but congratulations for a very successful pep rally. I'm hopeful and prayerful that this week goes well with all of the new students coming back to school. They're excited. I had an opportunity to talk to some of the kids, and you know, you forget that they have a lot of anxiety and angst about returning to school, yet they're very excited and hopeful as well. So let's remember to just be in support of our kiddos, and remember this is like a big week for them. This is a big deal. So
Thank you.
that's it.
Ms.
I'm
Miller?
always excited about the beginning of a school year. It makes me wish that I were still in that scene. I think it's a very interesting year this year as we implement a little bit more of the, what do we call it, the P2T,
There you go.
Passport to Tomorrow. That'll be getting underway with more momentum than we've had. So I'm looking forward to that. And I had a chance this summer to sit with some teachers who were looking at various ways of delivering instruction, and I really enjoyed my time with them. So I'm really looking forward to this school year.
Thank you. And I would just like to echo a lot of what each of you said. The pep rally was that. It was a rally. It got people pumped up. I really did enjoy Miss Parsons' story too. As she's a teacher that started as a student in our district, was lifted up by our teachers as a student, and became that uplifting person as a teacher for many years, her entire career in Middletown. This is, I think, her last year. She had indicated she has some grandchildren or a grandchild that she's going to be a part of their life more than all of ours. But I just wanted to say thank you to her and all those teachers that are doing so much that sometimes it goes unnoticed, or they think it goes unnoticed. But without the Miss Parsons, then there's a lot that's missing. Want to express a good luck to our football and cheerleading squads as they open up against Loveland, I believe, on Friday at home. I saw that I just got my pass for GMC Sports, and so maybe I'll cash this in the first time and see how they're doing. I understand the press box is looking sharp and getting new paint on our facility there, and so thank you for all that. At the pep rally going back, the community partners that were there, it was nice to see folks, like the integration over their time as a board and under this leadership. I think there's been a concerted effort to bring in more folks from outside and integrate what we're doing in school with what's required and needed outside of school. And to see them at the pep rally, to show up early in the morning to be a part of that, their presence was noted and appreciated. And our success, our kids' success, a lot, it will be merged in terms of how we successfully navigate that. And so thank you to all of our community partners that were a part of that. And as the start of school, and for me, I'm speaking as a parent of a senior, that it goes so fast, and I'm kind of sad. And so I'm going to reach out to the families of seniors and also kindergartners, the two ends of the spectrum, because both parents, I think on both ends, feel it. And I'm feeling it right now, knowing that Evan will be walking into his senior year. And I can remember as a parent, my son and my daughter walking in the first day as a kindergartner. And so for the kids who have angst and emotion, I also kind of express that to the parents who are also going through all those transitions and understand that, yeah,
Boy,
it goes really
quick.
fast.
It goes,
You blink, and you always hear people say it, and then you live it, and you're like, daggone it, they were right. I wish they were wrong. And so thank you to our leadership for the pep rally, and our teachers, our staff, our bus drivers, our custodians, the people who mow the grass and make our buildings. Walking into the pep rally, I thought I was walking on wet floors. I was like, am I going to make marks on these floors? Because the building looks great.
So good.
And they did a really nice job maintaining a facility that, again, our taxpayers invested in us, and we want to make sure that we truly value and keep looking nice for a long time. And I can attest from being in there, it looks really nice. And so thanks to all the people who make that happen.
Well, Dr. Urso, if I can reminisce with you, I think that puts your son in 3rd grade and your daughter in kindergarten when I started here. So time has flown fast.
It goes, right? With or without you.
Wow.
Pep rally was a lot of fun. I think our superintendent did a great job of planning it. And the thing I was most excited about was we made it through Hungry Hippos unscathed, uninjured.
No
it was
workman's
definitely,
comp?
Yeah, no workers' comp. It was definitely a fun event to watch. I'll never think of Hungry Hippos the same way again. I will tell you, I've seen a lot of hard work this summer from our staff, a lot of PD, a lot of preparation. And HR's done a heck of a job of hiring, getting people prepared and in the classrooms. And I don't know that there's been a year in my 9 years, now my 10th year, that we've been more ready for the start of school. So I contribute to that to you, Deb, and the hard work you've done to get us there. But I'm very excited again for a great year, and I hope our Middies athletics in the fall have a great season too. All of them.
So yes, tomorrow is an exciting day. Our students return. You know, over the summer, yes, work continues, and people, you know, it's like, what kind of work of the summer? And it's like, the work continues, but what's different is that everybody's back, right? So the work is a lot different. You know, so we're coming back. Half of our students are back tomorrow. That's a big day. So Chris mentioned, Dr. Urso mentioned, you know, students, parents, but still educators on the first day of school, no matter how many years you've been teaching or you've been in education, the first day of school is a big day. You know, people they're excited, they're anxious, they can't wait. So it is a big day. So want to welcome our students back. Also want to mention our buses are rolling tomorrow. So as you're out and about in the community, you know, just be on the lookout for our students. You know, they're anxious to get on their buses, and just the safety piece of students milling about in the morning, just their excitement, the afternoon. So it is a big day. So big day tomorrow, the other half coming, what is tomorrow? Tuesday, other half coming on Wednesday, and before you know it, everybody will be back together. And then also want to echo, we've had, everybody's been working hard for the return of our students, from when it comes from the bus drivers to cafeteria to the grounds look awesome to our custodians. It's just been hopping all summer for the return, and it's finally here. So we're ready.
With that being said, is there a motion to adjourn into executive session to consider the purchase of property for public purposes because premature disclosure of information would give an unfair competitive or bargaining advantage to a person whose personal private interest is adverse to the general public interest with no action to follow?
So move.
Second.
Mrs. Scheibert,
Yes.
Mrs. Stewart,
Yes.
Mrs. Mulligan,
Yes.
Dr. Urso.
Yes. Have a good evening. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Cora.
Yeah, come on, your pen.